How's it going, everybody? Tim here, back with another video. And today I wanted to talk about why I believe everyone should stop watching the news. Yeah, I said it. Stop watching the news. This is something I feel very strongly about, and so I just wanted to take the time to make this video and to share a few points why I think everyone should stop watching the news, and just kind of talk a little bit about how I feel, it helped me when I stopped, and how it can help you as well. One of the first things about the news is that it is just so negative these days. Back in the day, the news was the news. Basically, whatever was happening locally was what people heard about when they heard news. Nowadays, the news is basically a race to see who can put the most negative stuff on television. The reason for this is the news is in the business of making money. News is a business now. It is not just you getting information about what's going on around you. It is a business. So they need to make money. In order to make money, they need people to watch. And nothing makes people watch more than negativity, specifically fear. If you can get people nervous and scared, people will watch anything, will tune in to watch anything. I know this firsthand because just being on YouTube a lot. One of the things I've noticed in making YouTube videos, if you put a negative, scary title, people will click on that video 10, 20 times more than just a regular title. If any title that has something that might instill fear in people, say you're making videos about living in RVs. You have a video title that says why you should live in an RV, as opposed to if you have a title that says 10 reasons why you should never live in an RV. People will click on the one that says 10 reasons why you should never live in it 20 times more than they'll click on the other one. Just because when people get nervous and scared, they feel like they need to get whatever information you have to help them solve this fear. And that's what the news does. The news wants you to think that the world is a horrible, bad place, and the only way that you're going to keep from having bad, horrible stuff happen to you is if you watch the news, stay informed about it, and then suddenly kind of figure out a way to deal with it. That's what our minds, like to do. We like to see danger and figure it out. And the news makes us feel that if we don't tune in and watch their news, we won't know about this big, scary stuff that's going to happen. We'll be unprepared, and it's going to happen to us. However, this is not true. But the news media, they know this, and so this is constantly what they do. It's just a cycle. They give you something scary tonight, and then you're like, oh man, I need to tune in tomorrow night and see what else is going on in this big, scary story to see, if it has any effect on me. But here's the thing. 98% of the news that comes on the television, or you'll see articles on the internet, or you read the newspaper, the few people who actually read the newspaper anymore, 99% of it has nothing to do with you. That's the big, I should have started with that. 99% of the stuff you will read in the news or see in the news has nothing to do with you. And the other 1%, you can't really do nothing about. Even if it does, has nothing to do with you. That's the thing. Most of the news that comes your way has nothing to do with you, and the stuff that does, most of the time you won't be able to do anything about it. So, watching this news and getting all worked up about it, it changes nothing. Changes nothing, especially now that we have world news. I don't understand anyone who watches world news on a regular basis. Actually, I like I always say, I get it, but I don't understand it. Like I see, I used to watch it. But here's the thing. Most of the stuff that goes on in the world, it doesn't matter if you know about it or not. A lot of stuff that goes on in your own country, it doesn't matter if you know about it or not. It is not going to change anything. You can't do anything to change anything. Yeah, it might be interesting to learn about what's going on in other countries, but you don't need to know all the negative, bad stuff that goes on in other countries. If the news was all about the good that went on in the world, I'd watch it every night. But it's not. It is about all the negative, bad stuff that goes on in the world, and you just really don't need that type of negativity in your life. And that's the problem with it. Not only can you do nothing about it, but when you see this stuff, you automatically have a negative response. I mean, you can't help it. Unless you're just like, unhuman. When you see bad stuff happening all over the world or around you, you can't help but have a negative response. It makes you think the world is a bad, horrible place. This brings up negative emotions in you. And if you watch the news every single night, what do you think happens? Every night you're going to have negative, bad emotions running through your head. You're worried for no reason, and it starts to affect you mentally and physically. I know a lot of people who either watch the news every night or they get up in the morning and watch the news. And the reason I don't like this is because your body starts to condition itself. When you do certain things at a certain time every day, your body naturally just suddenly starts to condition itself to do that or to have those certain responses. For example, if you wake up at 5:30 every single day to go to work, on the weekends when you don't have to go to work, what happens? You still wake up at 5:30. Your body has programmed itself to wake up at that time. So what do you think happens if every single morning or every single night you watch the news, bad stuff happens, you get in a bad mood, you get negative, emotions rear up inside of you, and you just, start worrying? Even the nights you don't watch the news or the mornings you don't watch the news, I guarantee you around that same time, you're going to start worrying about something. Negative feelings are going to arise in you. You've conditioned your body to take this in and to give that out at that time of day every day. It's the type of stuff that we don't really think about a lot, but these things happen. I promise you, if you think about this or look for this, you will see that you are bringing this negativity into your life for no reason every single day, and it is affecting you. And like I said, negative emotions can affect us physically. You wonder why you're stressed out. You wonder why you can't sleep. You wonder why you're, gaining weight or losing weight, depending on your metabolism. Me, I lose weight when I worry. And it's through things like, taking in all this negativity in the news. Another thing I don't like about the news is that, especially in this day and age, the news does more to breed hate than anything else. Think about it. The last time something affected you and you almost had, and this happens to all of us, when we see certain individuals of a different race or a different nationality behaving in certain ways, it's just a human response, kind of want to put up walls and say, well, hey, if they're going to do that, well, we need to do this. It's natural to have that, and I won't even come out and say totally hate, but just have that defensiveness against that race or that nationality, which makes it very easy to have the step over into hate. This is what happens on the news. This rarely happens in your everyday life. In your everyday life, even when we interact with people different than us, and sometimes they do dumb stuff, we just whatever, people. But the news makes it a point to point out the nationality, point out the race. The news always does this. It always leads with, whatever male does, whatever, I'm not even going to use any of the terms I use, but you know what I'm talking about. The news always leads with something that points out what makes that person different, and then it points out what they did. It doesn't say, man or woman, blah, blah, blah. It always says so-and-so, blah, 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 did so-and-so. They make a point to point out the differences. That alienates people, that breeds hate, and I really don't like that. I know the news does it to make it a bigger story because it makes us watch. If they run a story about black people, I'm gonna watch to see, what black people are doing. Other people are gonna watch to see what these black folk do now. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. That's why they do it. But it breeds hate, and it alienates people, and it divides people, and I really don't like that. And especially this day and age, the news media is really doing a great job of dividing people, and a lot of people don't realize why they're suddenly feeling certain way about different groups of people. It's because you're watching the news every night, and it is bringing these emotions up in you that normally you wouldn't have in your everyday life. I think one of the reasons we feel the need to watch the news so much now is that because we are just so used to having information overload that we are just kind of conditioned now to think that if there is something we can know, we should know it. If there is some information out there, we should be able to take it in because we're just so used to getting so much information. We have the ability to learn so much about the world around us. But I want to go on record and say, just because you can know it doesn't mean you need to. Knowledge is not always power. If there's knowledge that doesn't benefit you and you can't do nothing with, it's not really power. It's just useless information. Knowledge is not always power. Just because you can know it doesn't mean you need to sit down and learn it. We seem to think, oh, if there's something happening in the world, I got it, and I can learn about it. I need to. You don't. You really don't. Stuff goes on. Bad stuff is going to happen in the world. We all know this. Since the beginning of time, bad stuff has happened. Bad stuff happens all around the world every day, but that doesn't mean you need to know about it. I know that sounds a little callous, but I mean, honestly, if there's a terrorist bombing in Turkey and it kills 120 people, I don't need to know about that. I mean, that sounds callous, but I mean, on the same token, if there's a terrorist bombing over here, it kills 120 people. They don't need to know about that in Turkey. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be abreast of anything that's going on in the world. My thing is that the important things that happen or things that are going to affect you, you're going to find out about. Like, somebody at work's going to be talking about it. A family member's going to call you and tell you. The really important things that are going on, you will find out about. But some of the things that the news media tries to make seem as important to you really isn't important. Like me, I don't really need to know what's going on with ISIS every single day. I really don't. You know why? Because I can't do nothing about it. You know what? They beheaded 5 more people. What can I do? All it's going to do is make me nervous. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to know. And that's just an example of one of the things that the news harps on a lot. But the point is, just because there's information out there doesn't mean you need to know it. I mean, just and like I said, I didn't realize how much news affected me until I stopped watching it, and then every now and then I come across some news and it just ruins my day. Like I said, when I check my email, when I close out my email, a lot of times the homepage, because I use free email services because I'm cheap, so the homepage comes up and it has news on it, because they realize that they can hook you with the news to stay on their page. And just I see a story and these emotions flare up and I get all aggravated with myself for looking, but then also I react to the story. And this let me see that, the news is doing nothing for me except making me a more bitter, angry person. I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, just take a week. Don't watch the news. I know some people love the news. They're going to thumbs down this video. Tim, you're an idiot. But trust me, those of you who have open minds, take a week. Don't watch any news, and then the next week start watching the news again. See what happens with your mood, with your attitude. I promise you, the news is putting so much negativity and wrong thoughts and just all the wrong stuff into your mind and affecting you emotionally. You don't need that in your life. You want to be the sole influencer and a few people around you of your thoughts and your beliefs and your mood, not someone who is just dispensing random information so they can make more money. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. I don't like this.